Next, we're going to enter a check that is from a third party that is not, they're not a client nor insurance company. So, for example, we're going to enter a check. So we're going to go new. I look up a firm, and I look at the check, and it says Apple Computer Inc. Now I know if I look up a firm called Apple, we are not going to find it because they're not a law firm nor insurance company. Now, do we want to enter every single firm that writes a check to us, which happens quite often, enter them into our firm database? And my answer will be no. And my recommendation is that you need to set up one firm called ThirdParty or ThirdParty Payer. So for example, let's say I put in third, and then it'll pull up a firm that I set up to handle all the third-party payers. So I'm going to select that. And so I use in general terms, this one firm called third-party payer to handle all checks coming from the corporations and companies and things like that, individuals. So this is a check. And let's say I got a check for $667.04 and check number and the date of the check. We'll do the same thing. Checking account as the general ledger number. Now in the made by text box, I can now actually enter the actual name of the firm who wrote the check. So this will be the case where you have the third-party payer as the firm you enter into RB8 and specify the actual maker of the check in the made by text box. Save and close. Now as you come into the payment detail window, no invoices will be displayed here because I never billed the third-party payer per se. So what I need to do is simply take that third-party payer, delete that name, and go into the invoice number text box and put in the invoice number I have researched. So let's say invoice is 6348. You press the enter, and there is the invoice. Now, next thing I notice is that they are at this time they're actually paying for the late charge because I noticed the invoice amount or balance is only $606.40. So there is my credit. Again, that credit being the smaller amount between the balance and the unapplied amount. So at this point, the amount that I can credit will be $606.40. So I need to go to tap to the late charge field because it actually shows me at the top late charge is $60.64. So this time we're actually applying $60.64 as a late charge. So it'll make a balance goes down to zero and also make the late charge balance also goes down to zero. And then we'll go ahead and apply. Now let's look at an instance where we have to use the discount field. So I'm going to add a check. Let's say the check is from the law offices of Young Lee, and the amount I got today is $403. Check number. So we'll go ahead and save the check. Now, I researched and found out that the invoice actually it's paying is this one, 6518. Now, the balance actually is $403.75, but the client only gave me 403. I guess they didn't bother to put the cents on it. Now, so that credit we can give is the $403 because that's all the money we have. Now, if I apply out of here, what's going to happen is that it will leave a 75 cents as the balance, and the client will get a statement that tells them owing us 75 cents as the balance. So you make a decision at this point. Do I want to bother client, try to collect the 75 cents, or I should go ahead and discount it so that I can write this off and make it a balance go down to exactly zero. So my decision at this point will be give a client a discount for this invoice. So I tap down to the discount field, and here I'll put in the discount of 75 cents. So along with a credit of $403 plus the discount of 75 cents, when I apply, it will wipe out the balance of $403.75. Next, let's take a look at the an overpayment issue. So I got a check from the same law firm, Office of Young Lee. We'll tap to check amount. This time, let's say I got a check for $430.75. And check date is 14th of February. And we'll save and close that. We come to all the open invoices for this client. Now, again, my research tells me that invoice number 6518 is the one invoice the client is paying. Now, I noticed that obviously client made a mistake and they transposed the two digits. So they actually overpaid me $27. Now, again, since the balance is only $403.75, that's all the credit amount's going to be. So now if I, again, just apply out of this, then my transaction will not imbalance because I have more money left over than I used. And I won't be able to post that particular check because system will not lend me because the money has not been used completely. So again, I have to make a decision at this point how I am going to handle this $27. Well, the only way I can handle this is an overpayment at this point. So to use up all the money, I'm going to enter $27 into the overpayment text box. Again, overpayment plus the credit makes up the $430.75. And we'll go ahead and apply that. Now, the question is, what happens to that overpayment? Where does it go? Well, accounting-wise, that $27 will be ending up in an account called refunds, which is the liability account. So it does not go into your personal retirement account. It goes into the refunds. Now, whether you make a refund right at this moment out of your other accounting system, such as QuickBooks or Peachtree or whatever other accounting system you're using, it is really up to you. Or you can wait until client asks for it. Either way, the making a refund is your responsibility. RB8 will not actually make the refund itself.